This says, Dear Shawn from Mark, I am LDS. I've been watching your show for the past 6 months. I've learned a lot about the origin doctrines of the church. I'm convinced that it does not contain the gospel. Anyway, my point of this email is your show has convinced me that the LDS church is lacking, but now, to an extent, my faith in Jesus is in question. Who's to say that Jesus was not a Joseph Smith figure, who was a mundane ministry and quickly glorified by his writers? And he goes on to ask questions about that. He says, I don't want to abandon this faith altogether. But then again, I don't want to end up just shackling my mind to a slightly different myth. How can I know the truth? And it's probably one of the most oft-asked questions besides why do we do what we do? And let me tell you, Mark, from the bottom of my heart, what you've experienced is the LDS scorched earth policy. And what that means is they have told you from cradle to your present existence that the LDS church is true and everything else is false. And now you've done your homework and you found out that it's false. And so you look around and you say, everything else must be a joke too. And you're burnt. Your whole faith system is burned to the ground, and it's understandable. And the best advice I can say is not trust me and not trust another church, no other denomination, no liturgy, but just go to your Maker. He tells us in His Word you have that right to come to Him and to go to your Maker, you and Him, and say, look it, I don't know if anything's true. I don't even know if you exist. You are a mystery to me. Jesus is a mystery. I don't know if He's a myth. I have all these scholars now on TV, on the History Channel and Discovery Channel that said His whole history was made up. And then I have all these preachers saying that He's real. What is the truth? And then to say, I will go wherever you lead me, but I want truth. And that's kind of what Ryan said when he sat here. He said he went to God and said, I just want to know the truth. And 3 days later, he had his eyes open. The best way to tell that God is working in your life is a change in perspective. You suddenly see, and Jesus talked about eyes that see, ears that hear, hearts that feel, are converted and are then healed. This is the process that God does. Now, just to make a clarification, He doesn't do this through feelings, usually. You can have some kind of emotional response to things, but what He does is He sets up doors to open and doors to close. And you might be contemplating on, is Jesus real? And you get on a bus and you sit next to someone who says, do you know who Jesus is? And you say, wow. In fact, someone told me this the other day. That's a coincidence. Jody told me this. That's a coincidence. And then you go through your life and another, that's a coincidence. And then that's a coincidence. And you go, that's not a coincidence. That's God working in your life. That's how He answers you. He sets up and He puts things in your path to answer you. So don't look for this metaphysical, but just look for Him working in your life, clearing it up.